How to use GoHighLevel for beginners. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will show you exactly how it works, how to set up your GoHighLevel account, and basically try to cram everything up into this video on the basics of how to pretty much use everything about GoHighLevel. So let's just go ahead and get to it. But first, if you want to get a 30-day free trial for GoHighLevel instead of the default 14 and also some more bonuses, you can just click on the description down below and follow along the video. So let's just go and get back to the video. Okay, so once you actually sign up with GoHighLevel, you're going to find yourself in a similar page. And I suggest that actually you go to the Launchpad tab and you just go through the items in here one by one and try to basically set up the defaults that you will need to actually do. So for example, the add brand logo, you simply just want to click on that and actually add your branding and set up your API domains. If you actually have one, if not, you can just go and purchase one and connect it so you can actually use your own custom domain and so much more. So those are the basics. I highly recommend that you actually go through them. And this is only in the foundational setup. You are also going to have the lead generation and branding and billing and so on. But anyways, I'm just going to try to highlight first that this is going to be your agency view. This is going to be your, let's say the main settings of your GoHighLevel account. This is not specific to a specific client. This is the back end when it comes to the settings of your GoHighLevel account. So in your agency view, you're going to be able to find the agency dashboard, which is pretty much just going to show you everything. You also have the option to set up sub-accounts, which we will get to in a little bit, which is basically the most important part where the tools actually live. You also have account snapshots. We also will try to highlight that in this video, and more, general items that you would find for GoHighLevel when it comes to, learning and setting up the actual settings of the entire thing. So I suggest that you actually click on settings. So first, obviously my profile, very self-explanatory. You just want to go ahead and add your own information in here. And when it comes to the company settings, obviously you're just going to go ahead and add your company details when it comes to white labeling, which is the domains and your logo and stuff, and obviously the company name and email and company phone, website, and so on. Also, within these agency settings, I suggest that you go to the Stripe tab and connect your Stripe account for your payment options. Okay, so generally speaking, this is basically what you would want to do within your agency dashboard, and there's the most important part here, which is, managing your actual clients and the different accounts that actually run within this GoHighLevel account, which are basically the sub-accounts tab. So if you go to the left here, you should be able to find sub-accounts. You simply just want to click on that. This is basically where all the different clients that you have live and their accounts. So those are going to be the accounts that they will be using, or you yourself, you can actually go ahead and create your own sub-account, which you can actually use and start, this is going to basically, the sub-account is going to include the actual tools like the pipelines, opportunities, the task management, and so on. So everything is going to live within a sub-account. And this is basically where you can actually manage them and also create them. And when it comes to account snapshots, the tab on the left, this is basically, you could say, pre-made templates that you can actually create for these sub-accounts. So if you want to set up a sub-account for your client, but you just want them to use specific things with a specific template, you can actually use snapshots to create them. Creating snapshots is very simple and easy. May not show you exactly how it works, but we do have a video for that specifically. So those are snapshots. Anyways, in order to actually create a sub-account and get started to, go to actual work now, you can just go to the sub-accounts tab and click on create sub-account from the top right corner. From here, you are just going to go ahead and select a snapshot, which we just talked about. So you can actually browse pre-built templates from GoHighLevel themselves and select them if you actually find anything appropriate. Or you can just go and start with a blank snapshot, which is completely fine. It's completely normal. And obviously, you also are going to have the options to use your own snapshots. And at the top here, you have the software as a service account and the regular account. Basically, the difference between the two is the software as a service is basically where you can actually sell the account as just a software. You don't really have to actually do manual work for them. You just sell them the product. But for the regular account, you basically they're paying you for the work, you could say. So these are the differences between the two. So just go ahead and pick whichever one is going to be suitable in this case. And I'm just going to go ahead and select a blank snapshot and click on select and continue. Now this step basically requires for you to select the business location. So you can just go and manually search for it here at the top and just go ahead and select it. Or I prefer the other method, which is just click on add manually on the top right here, which is just going to allow you to manually type things out. So this is going to be what you need to do. First name is mandatory, last name as well, email and business name. Once you do that, you're also required to add your business phone number, address, and the city, country, and the zip code. And also the time zone, because the time zone is very important, and basically every function you do within GoHighLevel is going to depend on the proper time zone that you are using. So make sure you add the proper one. So let's say you're creating this account for a client which has a different time zone. Make sure you select the appropriate one, not your own. So this is basically how it works. So I'm just going to fill these up with dummy data for the sake of this tutorial, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue. And at the bottom here, obviously you have the two options, whether this is your own account or a client's account. So select the appropriate one and click on add sub account at the end. And by the way, you can add sample data in the sub account to test things out as well, which is great. So I'm just going to keep this on, but you can just toggle it off if you don't want to have that kind of headache. Okay, great. So once you actually go ahead and create the sub account, now you can actually go ahead and switch between the agency view and the different sub accounts that you have. In order to do so, all you need to do is just click on the top left here, click here to switch view, and you should be able to see all the different sub accounts that you have. The one that I have just created is this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. And now I am basically in the sub account view now. And as you can see now, even the left side dashboard is different. We have the dashboard, which is fine, conversations, calendars, contacts, opportunities, payments, and also more stuff here like automations, sites, and so on. But what I need you to do right now is just go to the settings tab within the new sub account. And if you click on my staff here, basically you're just going to be able to add the different members. So let's say this account or sub account is for a client, then you can just go in and add them in here and give them the appropriate role. So you can just click on add user from the top right, give them the information needed, and then click on roles and permissions and go through basically everything in here to give them the appropriate roles. So if they're just going to be managing your payments, then just go ahead and toggle this on, and the rest just toggle it off, and so on. So you just want to basically go through everything in here and add them this way. This is basically how you can add your staff members, and then they will have basically access to this sub account. And also, if you add somebody and somehow they create a problem within the system, they delete a workflow, for example, or something, you can always check the audit logs here from the same settings tab. You can just find it down here and see everything that happened, basically. So it's going to really save you a lot of work if somebody broke something. Integrations is also a very huge part when it comes to GoHighLevel, where you can actually go ahead and connect a lot of stuff for different types of features. So you can actually go ahead and connect your Google account to use things like Sheets, Gmail, and so on. And same goes for Facebook, WhatsApp, and you name it. There's plenty of different integrations, each with their own, sets of features that they provide. Okay, so now that we have, the settings basically all done, you can obviously discover the rest. I'm not really going to go through each one of them, but let's actually talk about the important stuff here. For example, we have the main dashboard, which you can fully customize and create your own custom dashboard. And basically, it's just going to showcase the summary of the entire, process. So you have the opportunities status here, the opportunities when it comes to, funnels and so on. There's a lot that you can add and remove when it comes to the dashboard, what you actually want to show and what you don't want to show, pipelines, you name it. So everything is going to be within the main dashboard. So this is going to be a very common place that you visit over time, and you can even change the different days that you want to view the progress in. Conversations is basically the unified inbox that GoHighLevel has, which is going to have, Facebook messages, emails, you name it, is all going to land over here. And you're just going to be able to see it all in one place. So you don't have to go all over the place. So this is basically where conversations shine. Calendars, you're just going to find your different appointments that you have, and you can even, integrate with Google Calendar, for example, for even more features and so on. So this is also going to be in here. As you can see, appointment list view is the one that you would want to use. So for the contacts, this is basically going to be where you find all the different contacts that you have. And also you can start by adding some more contacts or importing them basically. So this is going to be where if once you actually create a funnel and so on, if somebody actually subscribes, they're going to basically automatically land in here, and you can just, view them, have specific tasks tied to them. You're just going to also have some more contact information about them and so much more. So if you click on somebody here, those are all sample data that GoHighLevel provides. So you can actually see a lot more stuff to them, more information. And also on the right side here, you can actually see the different opportunities that they're linked in, tasks, notes, and so on. So the different appointments that you have, you name it. So this is going to be basically within the contacts tab. Now let's get to the opportunities tab of things, okay, or side of things. So for the opportunities, mainly you have the main opportunities tab, which is going to be this Kanban view of the different stages, basically a pipeline of the different stages here. So for example, the default one, which is the marketing pipeline, has new lead, contacted, qualified, proposal sent, and you can even scroll to see the rest of them. And you also have the different pipelines that you can actually create and manage here on the top. So let's just go ahead and create a new pipeline. I'm just going to name it test pipeline. And I'm just going to go ahead and set up the different colors for them. And you can obviously just go ahead and start by adding different stages. If you want to add a new one, simply click here on the top and create a new pipeline. Stage, sorry. So you can just go ahead and name them whatever you want. I'm just going to leave them as it is for the sake of time, and you can just obviously color them as you like if you want to. This is not necessary, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it real quick and click on create. Now you have your own pipeline, or the new pipeline, which is test. So if we just go back to opportunities and switch the view to the new pipeline, so from the top here, click on that, and here you're just going to basically filter between the different pipelines that exist in your GoHighLevel sub account. So let's say test pipeline. Now, as you can see, all the different opportunities that existed no longer is in here because they are not included in this specific pipeline. So in order to add an opportunity, again, it's very simple. Now you get the pattern. It's basically you just want to go to the top right and you will find the add button. So click on add opportunity, and you're just going to go ahead and select one of the contacts that you have, or you can just type something new out and create them as a new contact. It's completely fine. You can do that as well. I'm just going to select a random person here, and basically you're just going to go ahead and fill out the other details. So the pipeline is within the test pipeline. We also have the marketing. The stage is going to be new lead by default, but you can jumpstart them depending on their actual stage. So if they did actually contact you, you would want to just do contacted. But this is completely fine because you can change it later on very simply, and I will show you how. Their value, so let's say they are, offering $1,000. Status is open. The owner basically is going to be the person who's following the actual opportunity and, doing the tasks for them and so on. So just go ahead and assign an owner. And the followers are more like the CC in an email. They're just going to watch things from a distance, you could say. The business name and source of the opportunity, and click on create. And just like that, whenever you create an opportunity, you have the tasks for them now, the different appointments and so on. And if you just exit out of here and see the pipeline, they're right over here. And you can even see the stage itself, which is new lead. The total of new lead is actually 1,000, and it does actually calculate for you. So let's say you have 14 different opportunities within the new lead tab. Then in that case, it's just going to calculate all of them for you and sum it up all in here, or actually just give you the total basically. And let's say test person here did actually contact us. So what we want to do, or the owner of the actual opportunity, is basically just drag and drop them to the next tab, and so on until they actually reach the closed tab, and hopefully, you actually win them, and it's just going to calculate everything for you. So this is basically, in a very short way, the pipelines and opportunities, and obviously you can add as many opportunities as you like, and you can even switch views if you want to. It's completely up to you. So for the payments tab here, you can actually go in and create your invoices, your documents, and contracts. And yes, you can actually go in and create a contract, either an open one or a closed one, and you can just go in and start, embedding it to your website, and people can actually sign it, and you can use that. You can also create your payment links from here, the different subscriptions, and you have also some integrations, which is basically the payment methods for your site. So if you want to start accepting payment methods, this is where you want to set them up depending on what you need. For example, if you wanted to use Stripe as your, acceptable payment method, you just want to connect PayPal as well, or any other method, for example, cash on delivery. So just browse through them. There's a lot more. So you can just click on search for more and find the appropriate one for your location and just set it up. Next tab I want to talk about is going to be the automation tab. This is going to be where your workflows live. And basically, in a very, very simple way, this is, there's going to be a trigger or an event that happens. And due to that event happening, the system automatically is going to do the thing that you asked for it automatically. I know that doesn't make sense, but let's just go and create a very, very simple workflow from scratch. And you can even use templates if you want, just to demonstrate what that actually means. And I also recommend that you enable the auto save feature. By the way, you can even use their AI, which you can just describe what you want to happen, and they're just going to go in and do it for you. Anyways, the trigger is going to be something that happens at the beginning. And once this trigger happens, something else is going to automatically just, be performed after it. For example, let's say you have a form that has been submitted. This is going to be the trigger. So I'm just going to select this. But there's plenty of other basically triggers that you can choose. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use form submitted. And you obviously just want to go ahead and select the form. I don't have one yet, so I'm just going to save it as it is. It doesn't make sense, so let me just go and remove this. Okay, so once this form has been submitted, we want the next step to happen automatically. Let's say send an email as a welcome email. So this is basically what workflows are. I'm not really going to create a proper workflow here, but this is what it means. So step 1 happens, then automatically step 2 happens, and there's more to it. Like you can actually make it wait for a few days and then just send a follow-up SMS or email, that kind of stuff. But this is, more advanced, so I'm not really going to cover exactly the different workflows that you want to set up. This is for a later tutorial. And now you have the sites where you can actually go and start creating your funnels, websites, stores, and blogs. And basically you can see the rest here at the top. So let's say I'm just going to use the funnel as an example, but it's basically just going to work with the websites and anything else because it's a very basic drag and drop builder, and it's very simple. So let's say we want to create a new funnel. I'm just going to click on create new. You have 3 options, either from blank, build with AI, or from templates, and I suggest that you go for the templates one or AI if you are good at prompting. So just go ahead and select a template, or if you did actually prompt AI, it's completely fine. Just go ahead and set it up basically from scratch, even if you want to. It doesn't really make a difference. Either way, it's just going to open up the builder for you, and I'm just going to introduce you to it and see, tell you exactly how it works. So it's a very simple drag and drop builder. So you can actually just go ahead and drag anything literally, and you can just go and drop it anywhere that you want, as you can see. So also, whatever you actually click on is going to open up the settings for on the right side. So if you want to adjust anything when it comes to colors or, spaces, padding, you name it, just simply click on the element and it's just going to open up the different settings for it on the right side. So for example, the text here, if you want to adjust it, simply click on it and just highlight the text and type whatever you want in here instead of that dummy text. If you want to delete something, you can just go in and hover over it and click on the delete. You can even duplicate and so on. So this is basically how to adjust things within the actual template. But let's say you actually want to add a new element instead of editing a pre-existing one. In that case, you just want to go to the top left here, click on add elements, and you have a lot that you can add. As you can see, you have rows, sections, and so on. So this is basically how the builder works. I'm not going to show you how to create an actual funnel now in this video, because again, this is going to take more and more time, but we do have a video on how to actually create a funnel. Very simple. You have a form here, which you can just go in and create. And I'm also going to show you how to create a form quickly. And you basically just want to add the form in here. And basically the form is going to have them subscribe. And this is going to be your funnel. But you just want to use your builder now to set up the best looking website. And you know exactly how to right now. So as I promised, I'm going to show you how to create forms. In order to do so, just click on sites from the left side and click on forms at the top. And this is basically where you create a form. And creating the form is much like the website. It's a drag and drop. It's very simple and you can just create it very quickly. It's not really going to take a lot of time. And what I want to highlight here when it comes to creating a form is that you can delete stuff. And most importantly, you can make things required or not. For example, first name here in this case is not required. I want it to be required. So I'm just going to click on the settings tab and click on the required tab. As you can see now, it has a star next to it, which means it's mandatory to fill out. And I'm just going to remove this one, for example, and rename the form to something I can identify and click on save. And this is basically me creating a form. If you want to add something new, just drag and drop. It's that simple. So this is basically the gist of GoHighLevel. Now I'm very aware that I didn't actually showcase every single thing because there's pretty much, I'm just going to take an hour long video to do that. But I did actually show you how it works in a very basic way, and whatever works, for example, with sites is also going to work with say opportunities or something. It's not really different. You know how to create a new opportunity. That means you also know how to create a new form. It's pretty much the same idea. It's just different names to it and obviously functions. I'm not, putting that aside. But also one last thing, which is the snapshot. So if you want to create a custom snapshot to GoHighLevel and you want to create, for the future sub accounts that you want to create, you have a very good snapshot. What you want to do is basically just set up one sub account to be the perfect snapshot, and you can just go in and adjust it to your liking. For example, for the opportunities tab, you create the best pipelines. For the automation, you create the best workflows, and that's it. Then you just go to the agency view, and from your agency view, you simply just want to click on account snapshots, and you just want to click on create new snapshot from the top right, give it a name, and click on sub account and basically select the sub account that you have just set up. And they're basically just going to copy everything that you want from that sub account, obviously excluding the actual data. For example, the clients themselves are not going to be imported in this. It's just the structure of the actual layout of the sub account is going to be taken. Click on next and select what you actually want to be imported into the snapshot. For example, the pipeline, do you want that or not? The different workflows and so on. You get to actually select, or you can even select all of them if you want to. Just make sure you double check what actually went into it, and click on create once you're done. Basically, my sub account is, I think, quite empty, so it's not really going to have a lot. Just review settings, some custom fields and so on, but yours should have more. And with that being said, I think I'm just going to conclude the video over here. So hopefully you found it to be informative and helpful. And for more information, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you for watching.